Do you have a crappy tennis stroke, a big weakness that's holding you back from the results that you want? Well, I do. It's my one-handed backhand. It's always been my biggest weakness, and I've always struggled with it, and I've always kind of tried to hide it in my point play. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can self-identify, self-fix, and go about the process of developing your own weakness into a stronger shot right here on the court right now. I'm going to show you the steps to take, what drills, what progressions to use while I work on my own weakness. And this isn't the first time I've done this actually. A year and a half ago, January 2019, I published this video. It was just kind of a random video. It was just a random idea I had, went out and did it just for fun. And the response and the feedback was actually incredible. And of course, we never did it again. And that was a year and a half ago. And so now that I'm by myself here at Essential Tennis again, the other coaches have left and it's just me, and I just got an incredible new ball machine. I figured this is the opportunity to come back to this and start revisiting that process of developing my own strokes and showing you how I do it. Because we all have weaknesses, we all have flaws, and I'd love to show you how you can work on them yourself. So if that sounds good to you, do me a favor and click like. It helps me, it helps the video tremendously. If you appreciate showing you kind of that journey and being open and vulnerable about what my weaknesses are and working on them, then do me a favor and click like. And so here's a clip that was taken from that first video where I was hitting with the ball machine in this particular shot. And this kind of highlights the different issues that I have with my backhand. Really open racket face in the back, really shallow forward swing, and then a very close contact point that's just kind of weak and scrunched up. So this is a clip taken from that video, that original My Crappy Backhand video. And when I was doing shadow swings in that video, this is what they were looking like on the right, where I would keep my racket face square. I would drop my racket head and come up to the point of contact, and then extend out towards contact and meet the ball in a much stronger position. And then as I went back and forth, if you've seen the video, maybe you remember, as I went back and forth between shadow swings and hitting with the ball machine, I would just go back to my old habit, which is totally normal, and this is what always happens. I've been working with students now for the last 20 years on how to bridge the gap between this and this. And in a nutshell, that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So let's go ahead, go to the court, and I'll show you how I'm going to tackle it. Let me walk you through what we have here on the court today and what you need, because this might look intimidating, but you don't need any of the fancy stuff that we have here. This is what I do for a living. This is my passion, is helping people improve. So I have all kinds of tools that are more fancy than what is necessary. You definitely don't need a ball machine. I don't know if I'm even going to use the ball machine today. We'll see. You need some tennis balls. I mean, really, if you just have 3, 4, or 5, that's probably plenty to get started. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. And you definitely need some kind of holder, some kind of tripod for your phone or your iPad, your tablet, whatever you happen to have. Whatever smartphone or tablet you have is plenty good to do video analysis. So all you really need is a couple tennis balls and a tripod, which is like 15 bucks on Amazon or 20 bucks on Amazon. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is make my way through some slow, smooth, shadow swings, following or mimicking the, need to push record, following or mimicking the movement patterns that I know I want to actually do. And so this is counter to the habit that I know I currently have. Currently, I know I take my racket back with an open racket face, and then from there I swing very straight and lateral, kind of like shoving my racket forwards. And then I make contact really close and tight, a lot of times with my wrist really extended upwards, and the whole thing is just really tight and rigid. So what I'm going to do now to start, and this is what you see me do with my private students, is move through a smooth, relaxed shadow swing where at first I'm going to stop during some key checkpoints. So checkpoint number 1 for me is going to be the take back. I'm just going to look back and check and see where my racket face is. Key checkpoint number 2 is going to be the drop of the racket. And here I want to make sure my racket face is square, or pretty close to square, and my butt cap pretty close to pointing towards the camera. Checkpoint number 3 is going to be contact with my arm extended and my wrist in a relaxed neutral position. And then checkpoint number 4 is going to be my follow-through position. So let me move through that one more time. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And just for myself now, I'm actually going to move through this a couple of times and then we'll review. So you may have noticed a few things. First of all, you may have noticed that during my movements here, my segmented shadow swings, I was frequently moving to a position and then looking to check myself out. And I'm doing this because I know if I don't visually check on myself, then my habit will want to go back to where it normally is. And I'm okay with this position, by the way. I know from studying pro technique, which we'll do in a second, that I don't need to be totally dead flat here. Just so that my racket is square by the time I drop it, then I know I'm good. Then I'm moving down to checkpoint number 2, out of sight, and then visually checking myself. I'm happy with that. Then position number 3, which is in my line of sight. So that kind of takes care of itself. And then to follow through. So if I look at my practice compared to lefty vibrato, this is what you should be doing at home after you go through your shadow swings, is going back to each position. So here's position number 1, and just kind of checking and seeing, like, am I at least in the ballpark? I'm definitely in the ballpark. I'm not super happy with my, kind of like hip position here, but aside from that, I'm happy with my body position, happy with my racket position, my hands position. I'm totally happy with that. And then further down in checkpoint number 2, here's my drop position. Here's vibrato's drop position. Again, definitely right in the ballpark. I could nitpick. And by the way, scrolling through the comments in the original crappy backhand video, lots of you saw lots of things that could be improved about my backhand. And many of you were absolutely right. A key thing with habit improvement, with a technical skill like this, is you have to make a choice of something to focus on. And so there's all kinds of things that could be improved about this shot and about my entire tennis game. Anytime you go out on the court and you work on a skill, it's important you have a narrow focus. And so today, I'm choosing to focus on swing path, because otherwise my brain is just going to be going around and around this merry-go-round of reminding myself, oh, this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and none of it actually gets any better. Frankly, I'm probably already biting off quite a bit more than maybe I should have. We'll see how it works out, a couple of progressions from now. So here's the drop position. Then let's check out contact position. Here's vibrato's contact position. Fantastic. My goals here were to remain square, keep my wrist pretty neutral and straight and relaxed, be extended. Happy with this. And then follow through position. Great. So I'm happy with this. But as many of you know who've been following us for a long time, the real challenge is when a ball is introduced. So let's kind of get set up again, and then we'll show you how to introduce the ball. So after you feel really good about your segmented shadow swings, next I recommend you move through smooth, fluid shadow swings. It's usually the next progression that I move my students through. And so the idea here is to continuously move through the whole motion, hitting all of the checkpoints without having to stop or pause. So here's the swings I was just moving through. Here, let's look at my last 2. So, oh wow, interesting. So yeah, so I'm like really exaggerating this. I'm taking my racket back quite a bit further on this one. I'm rotating my upper body quite a bit further than I need to. I'm fine with the exaggeration right now because in my experience working with students, exaggeration without the ball always leads to things being about right when the ball is there. There's always a kind of a pull back when the ball is present, even if student isn't hitting the ball. And so would I rather everything look absolutely perfect? Yeah, probably it'd be more satisfying to me. But I'm okay with myself exaggerating a little bit here. Okay, so now we're gonna involve a ball, but it's not gonna be the way you probably think. I'm going to move through 2 smooth, relaxed shadow swings. Then I'm gonna drop a ball to myself. Don't need a ball machine, don't need a coach. And instead of hitting the ball, I'm actually gonna toss it out away from myself a little bit, let it bounce, and then time my shadow swing with the ball coming back down so that when we watch the replay, what I wanna see is my racket more or less lining up with the ball where I would normally be making contact. So here's shadow swing number 1, shadow swing number 2. And now when I go back, I'm just gonna take a little pause in my take back. I'll toss the ball. All right, I'm really curious what that looks like. Because no matter how hard I want that to be the same, I know just based on just thousands of repetitions, that's probably a little different. And it's gonna be an adventure for all of us to find out how different it is. So let's just look at those last 2. So here's my last shadow swing. Let's see if I'm still exaggerating. I was trying to pull back a little bit. So yeah, I'm not exaggerating quite as much, but it's still a little further than what I actually want. That's great. Again, a little exaggerated. That's great. Like this is what I want to see. My body's not really turning forwards much because I'm so focused on what the racket is doing, what my swing path is doing. When my attention is on this, then something here or here or here or here, like there's a lot of you in the comments right now probably pausing, being like, oh, you're forgetting about blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I'm forgetting about it because this is my focus right now is swing path. So I'm gonna let those things go, just so you know, but if you see anything that you really don't like, feel free to go ahead and tell me in the comments, that's fine. And now what I really wanna see is, let's see what happens when the ball is there. Right, interesting. So yeah, so this is like a much more realistic starting position. I might be a little overturned with my upper body, but not by much, not as much as when the ball wasn't there. Ooh, I'm happy with this. I can't tell you how happy I would be if when I actually hit a ball, if I could get to this position right here, I would be so incredibly happy. But I'm not hitting a ball yet. And my brain knows that, and that's why this is easier than hitting a ball. That's why I'm doing this. And now I'm curious about contact. Yeah, wow, I'm really happy with that. That's really satisfying. Just the fact that the ball is there, and I'm doing this, and the drop, and the lift. Honestly, like it makes me really happy. This is like the happiest feeling I've had in a while. Seeing that happen right there with the ball there. I'm not hitting the ball yet, but this is on purpose. Because, why? Because I want to get high quality repetition in somehow. And if I just like go, hey Steve, let's go hit some balls, like, oh, hit to my backhand, I'm working on my backhand. Like if that's the way I train, I would never ever do that. I would never look like this because my other habit is decades and decades old. There's no way I would go to this when Steve and I or me and Kevin or me and Megan or whoever. So this is like 100 steps back from that so that I can actually get some quality repetition in. So what I'm going to do now is a shadow swing, a fake toss, and then a toss where I hit the ball. And my goal, when we review the video, is to make all 3 look exactly the same. Shadow swing, fake toss, drop and hit. That's the goal, is to make all 3 of them look the same. So let's try it. So shadow swing, fake toss, take back, what do you think, James?
Pretty good.
It's not going to be the same. Like the question is, where was the breakdown? I felt like you can feel the fight. Like you can feel the tug of war between the new thing that I'm concentrating on and the old thing, which is like baked in. It's ironed into your brain. That's why what's that?
I see my feet.
Oh, yeah. Say hi, James's feet. Yeah. All right. I'm honestly really curious about this. I honestly have no idea what I'm about to see here. So here's the shadow. See if I'm still exaggerating. Yeah, I'm still taking the racket pretty far back. I'm still turning my upper body quite a bit. Totally fine with that because I know I'm gonna kind of gravitate back in the other direction. So that's the shadow, no ball. Low drop, really extended. Nice, relaxed looking wrist and hand. Good. Now here's the fake toss. See how things go back more towards like kind of what it should be here? So I'm totally happy with that take back. Totally happy with that drop. That's great. I would love to see that when I actually hit the ball. Just remember that, because I think that's going to be the main like thing. Look at the angle of the racket here, how it's on edge. Dropping, coming up. That's imaginary contact. And so this is kind of the other main thing, is the angle of the racket at contact with that concentration face. It takes 100% of my concentration to do this when I'm not hitting the ball. Okay, Ray James, all this lead up to this moment. Let's see how different it is. Take back, look at how much more open the take back is. Yeah, so it's a little more shallow, so I'm not dropping to as much of an edge. So this is the, it's funny. This is the same shot. So is this the hit? Yeah, this is the hit. I want you to look at the fake toss. This is a perfect illustration of why we do this. Look at this. See, here's my toss. This is the fake toss. Look at my take back. Look at this position compared to this position. Significant difference. And you can even see my body is in a different position. My chest is facing in a different position. The butt cap is facing in a different position. Where's the ball? Here we go. And so on my way down, I reach that edge position much stronger, and this is more weak. Now, this is still a big improvement over what I know I normally do when I hit a tennis ball. So I will absolutely take this. Let me make sure this is the hit, right? Yeah. I will absolutely take this because I'm actually coming from below the ball and lifting up to the ball. In normal real life, I'm really just kind of shoving the racket like straight at the ball, and it's kind of like a side spin shot. When I hit that shot, I saw the ball rolling purely forwards, which made me super happy because in normal real life in tennis, I don't see that on my backhand side. All right, so let's go through the rest of it. Let's see what I'm looking like at contact. And here's that frickin' scoop. Oh my gosh. I've been doing this my entire life. And this is a remnant of, I used to have a really weak grip, basically a continental grip. And so as I approached the ball, if I wanted to hit the ball with a square racket, I would have to like turn my hand. And so there's all this programmed like tension right at contact in my wrist and my hand. So look at the difference here between, this is where Ian does not know, this is where Ian knows he's not hitting the ball. This is where Ian knows he is hitting the ball. So look at my wrist and my hand, how I'm like, and that's the tension I was talking about. Like I feel that immediately. And it's just deep, old programming that I need to work on. All right, we're all set up, so let's keep going. So what I'm going to do now is just go right back to where that sticking point was, where there was that little bit of reversion. So now I know the level of challenge where I get pulled back, and it's when I'm hitting the ball. So I'm going to keep going through that same sequence of shadow, no ball, fake, and hit. And now it's just gonna be a matter of like really zeroing in, on the tension, trying to just release my arm and my hand away from that, like scoopy thing right around contact, and just being mindful of what it feels like and trying to move my body in the new way. Okay, I like what I'm feeling, so let's check it out. We're gonna go back to the desk and do kind of a final analysis and do a side-by-side. All right, I've not looked at this yet. This is gonna be my first time checking this out. I spent like another 10 minutes or so just going shadow swing, fake toss, and then hit. Shadow swing, fake toss, hit. And I'm really curious to see, I'm just gonna look at the very last one. Let's just check out how my execution is. Okay, I'm getting better here. So racket on edge here, it's great. And my butt cap's actually close to the camera, that's good. I'm curious what contact is looking like. There's concentration face again, that's nice. And let's check out contact. I'm really happy with the racket position here, square, on edge. Okay, all right. So there's still a little bit of that. Wow, why did the camera move? Look at that, James. Why would it was on a tripod, nobody was by it. The whole world shook because of that backhand, that's what happened. So a little bit of that scoopy action at contact. I want to go back because I was really kind of playing with that around contact, trying to keep my wrist as passive as possible. And my goal really ultimately was try to get to this type of position at contact with my hand. And I knew I could feel it. I knew I was still kind of manipulating like right around when I was hitting, but I was trying my best to really loosen it and relax it. Oh, this is pretty, oh wow. So this on a ball where I hit the ball, so falling, I'd like to get into a little bit stronger slot position, and you can really kind of tell that I'm focusing on contact because I'm starting to open more in the back, and I'm not getting to quite as much of a slot position here, but it's still pretty good. And at contact on this one, I'm really pretty neutral and square. That's great. Honestly, totally honestly, this is the first time I've ever seen this position when actually making contact with the ball. So this for me is like a huge step forwards. And the result yet, by the way, totally irrelevant. Does not matter where the ball goes, doesn't matter if it goes over in the court or anything. This, in bits and pieces during this session today, I'm really happy with. I've never seen this much of an extended contact position for me, or that square, that neutral of a hand position for me. And in other ones, I've never seen that last one where I hit the ball. It's one of the better slot positions that I've ever seen for myself when I hit a ball right here. So you can see the pieces like slowly starting to come together. And I set up the ball machine in anticipation that I would make it that far, but I didn't today. I just spent an hour on the court with a basket of balls and just my iPad and the tripod, and I never even got to the ball machine. And I feel like I got major accomplishment out of it without rallying or playing points or keeping track of score or even hitting a ball coming from the other side of the net. And that is the mindset that you need to go into your training with if you want to take decades-old habits, like the one we're looking at for me, and make significant progress in the right direction. So if you've appreciated seeing this process and seeing me work through it in real time, do me a favor and click like down below. It helps me, it helps the video, helps more players see these videos, and it just lets me know that you appreciate this content and it's been helpful for you. And if you want to see me tackle any other strokes, which I probably will, honestly, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. I'd like to do more of this. I'd like to continue with the backhand, but what other shots would you like to see me self-train and show you how to work through the process of improvement by yourself with just a couple of balls on a tennis court? Thank you for watching. Let me know what else you think. Curious what your general thoughts are in the comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.